Hey everybody, welcome to the Ronline Report. We're here today with Steve Laureus. Steve Laureus, as you know, just barely took second place, almost won the Arnold Classic. It's been a long time since we talked, Steve. The last time we talked, I looked it up, was right after you won your pro debut in Pittsburgh last year. A lot has happened since then. You did your first Olympia, just barely missed the top 6, and then right here this past weekend in Columbus, so it's been like 10 days now. Yeah, I mean, you look phenomenal. A lot of people didn't know which way it was going to go in the end. It was a 1-point decision between you and George Peterson. But I want to congratulate you just on the look that you brought to that stage, because
as long as you hold me in your memory. When your dreams have ended, time can be transcended. Just remember me. I am the one star that keeps burning so brightly. Is the last light to fade into the rising sun.
Classic Physique, I'm a huge fan of Classic Physique division, and there's not many guys who I think really epitomize the ideals. That crazy small waist, the flaring lats, the flaring quads, the peak biceps. You know, you look at some of these guys, you're like, 212, open classic, I don't know. But you look at Steve Laureus, and that's classic. There's no question in anybody's mind. So congratulations for that show.
Thank you very much, Ron. Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here, and thank you for the opportunity. I don't know how to begin this interview, man. I'm very excited, and it was such a great experience last week. Well, 10 days ago. You know, it was a lot of work in progress, man. You know, there's a lot of things that I needed to work around them and be disciplined on. And it's all the credit goes to Neil. You know, Neil is actually more than just a coach to me. He's like my father, man. You know, we have check-ins. Like yesterday, we chatted 3 times yesterday, and he's all the way in Hong Kong.
Oh, geez.
So he want to make sure that I'm always good and I'm all right and I'm eating on time. Then you know, he wanted me to take off a week from the gym. And that's what I did, and he wanted to make sure that I listened to him. So I'm very grateful.
So tell me, first of all, you know, were you guys happy with the package that you brought? Because I've always said with you, it just comes down to condition. I mean, the first time I saw a picture of you at Bev's with the red background, it was that famous twisting. It's been posted a million times. I think you hadn't even competed yet in the NPC at that state. And it was twisting double bicep shot. And I thought it had been photoshopped because, like, the waist looked too small. I said, "There's no way." The waist had been photoshopped. I thought maybe the bicep peaks had been photoshopped a little, but actually that was you. It turns out. So condition was all I think you ever needed, because you have all the tools, the shape, the size, the structure, the symmetry, the proportions. How did you and Neil finally get you into that condition that we've been waiting for?
Ron, when I first started coming to the NPC, I was 100% natural. Yeah. So working with a coach, it was very difficult for them to really understand my body, you know, because, you know, it was brand new to a lot of things. And I think I just needed time, you know. It was a lot of hype when I came out, but to me, I was a rookie. I just needed time to really know exactly what I was into, what this thing was about, what competing was about, and I was not a regimented guy either. I didn't care. I just rely on my genetics. I do a lot of things, and I never carry my meals with me. It was a lot of things I did, you know, but when I started working with Neil, the more time I spend with him, even with Flex Lewis, you know, I get shit from these guys every single day, every single day. And where Flex was on the phone with me till like 1:30 in the morning, the night of the show, going back and forth and trying to really, pushing me and telling me to be confident. You're supposed to have the mind of a champion. It's your show. Go out there, and because I'm very shy. Yeah. But to answer your question, Neil basically write me a very good plan. And he makes sure that I do my cardio every day, I eat my meals every day, I train harder, and now I'm a professional. So he wanted me to display the classic look the best as I can. And he says, you're not going to be the biggest guy. Some guys are going to be a little bit more conditioned because they have the experience working with their coach. And this is our second prep. But the one thing I need you to do, and Flex Lewis, that's the mentality he has too. He says, you're going to go out there, do your thing, make everyone that's sitting next to you look ugly. And if they don't give it to you, the fans going to talk about it, But make sure you do that. That's all you need to do is go out there, whoever stands next to you. Don't look at them, don't do anything, just focus on yourself and just make everyone look ugly. So it was our second prep, man, and I feel like we were ready 3 weeks out for the show. I didn't post a lot of things. I'm not saying that I lost conditioning, but I had an issue with a flight, 14-hour delay. We freaked out 2 days before the show, and we bounced back to a really good, routine with the meals and drying out correctly. And we was on,
So was this the first prep that you would say you ate all the meals you're supposed to eat on time and you did all the cardio and everything 100%? Is that why we finally saw the Steve Laureus that I've been waiting for, that a lot of us have been waiting for?
When I worked with my previous coach, I skipped some cardio here and there because my life was very difficult at the time. I was going through a lot of things, stress. It was very hard because I have a kid. He's 4 years old, And so with Neil, thankfully with the sponsors that I have now, they really take care of me. They make sure they put me in a better place, in a better position, And they also have a good relationship with Neil. And the two working together make sure that I do the right thing. Make sure that, this is a job now. I'm a professional. I have to represent the IFBB Pro League the right way by coming out like a professional with my posing routine, with my conditioning, because everybody's getting lean, Why can't I get lean,
The shirt you have on is Powerhouse Gym, so that's where you train. Bevan Steve's Powerhouse in Syosset, Long Island. It's also where George Peterson trains. How ironic or how weird is it that the top two guys, George was obviously the favorite because he's been third at the Olympia 2 years in a row. So going into this, he was the heavy favorite. But, a lot of people were talking about you too. In the previews, I always said, Steve Laureus, you gotta watch Steve Laureus too, because in terms of shape and all that, he's better than George. George has him in certain areas like, the muscle detail and maturity because, for whatever reasons, maybe training longer and this and that. But shape-wise and everything, I said Steve's one to watch. But how weird is it that the top two guys in this show who went down to the very wire trained at the same gym? And I don't know, do you guys train like at the same times too?
No, I train, it depends. Neil wants me to train now, mostly during the day. He wants me to train between 12 to 2 o'clock. Sometimes it doesn't work around my schedule. I would go there around 5, 6 o'clock, but I ran into him a couple times in the gym. I just do my own thing, I always focus and do my own thing. But I knew it was going to be between him and I, but I don't like to throw a lot of things out there. I like to work in silence. It's my style of doing things. A lot of fans wants to see what you look like, and people wants to put things out there and to promote their page, of course, to get followers. But I don't really care about that, because I know it's 2019. People says you can't live like you like Dorian Yates and do. It doesn't matter to me. It's the most strongest, the most powerful mind that ever been in the sport. And I feel like when you work in silence and you focus, there's a lot more you can achieve. Because I don't have any pressure trying to show and demonstrate my physique to anyone, because I'm not going out there for anyone. I'm going out there to beat the version that I beat previously. So, you know, that's just how it works.
Okay. 'Cause, you know, I don't know if you were like, might have been a little upset, because I was promoting George so heavily, because every day I got videos, I got pictures. Justin was sending me so much stuff, and you, anything I saw of you, you were in a hoodie or something, you know, I had no idea what you were going to look like. But, you know, I like that idea of working in silence. It is kind of odd these days with social media and everything, because people do want followers and you do want your sponsors to be happy. So it is a natural thing now to put out a lot of content, pictures, videos leading up to the show. You know, you actually saved that till, you saved your update pictures to post till after the show was over. That's when you finally released a few of those.
Yeah, I have a whole bunch of them I haven't released. You know, Neil had me stop doing cardio. You know, honestly, I thought I was leaner actually before, you know, like a week out to the show. I think I was much leaner, because he was trying to revive to bring that roundness into me more, because I was looking flat every morning that I wake up. I was looking very flat but shredded out of my mind, you know. So it's a good thing I went to see him, I would say 10 days before the show. You know, there's a lot of changes that was made, you know, throughout.
You went down to Florida 10 days before the show?
Yeah, I went out to Florida 10 days ago. And, you know, he was feeding me a lot of carbs. I never ate that much in my life. And also he stopped cardio, you know, I think a few weeks, or I would say 8 to 10 days out, yes, when I got there. No more cardio for me to stay off my feet.
And you've said, you know, a couple of the posts you made since Arnold, one of them you said there were things that you guys figured out that you'll do differently next time. What are a couple of things that you learned in this prep that you'll apply for the Olympia?
Well, this is it. Like, I wanted to say this is that the number one thing I think we worked on is timing. You know, timing is a very important thing for Neil, and I think like my water has to be done at a certain time. My meals has to be done at a certain time. My cardio has to be done at a certain time. He believed that the body is programmed a certain way. You know, it really understands when you give it time, when you do everything at a certain time, so it processes better because it knows. So, and another thing is discipline, and being a strong mind, and always believe that I'm going to do good, or always believe that I can get lean. You know, do not put those thoughts in your mind, because the subconscious mind is full with negativity. You don't want to feed your subconscious mind with full of negativity. You want to always remain positive on a lot of things.
Yeah,
so
I don't know if Neil helped you with this, but like you're saying, I noticed a definite a boost in confidence. You looked a lot more comfortable, a lot more confident up there this time than I recall you being at the Olympia.
Of all I've done, remember, I will still be here as long as you hold me in your memory.
Just 6 months ago, I knew you could see that you knew either you were going to win or that you were definitely up there in contention for the win. Did you work on that with Neil or with somebody else? Because your attitude seemed different up there.
Well, it's all Neil and Flex Lewis, you know? Like, Flex Lewis spends a lot of time texting me and make sure that he boosts my confidence, you know? And he always tells me to have a mind of a champion. You know, like he says, you go on that stage, no one is going to beat you on that stage. He says, the minute I walk down that stage, you know, I don't care, no one is going to beat me that night. He always say that to me. So he says, you're going to bring a look. The guy has a, you know, he's the favor of the show, but don't even put that on your mind. He's like, you're going to come out there with a level of aesthetics that they don't have that, you know. He says, you have a stomach vacuum that a lot of them can't even perform that on stage. So he says, do the best you can. There's a lot of flaws and things you have, you know, just show it, you know, it's your stage.
This was the greatest shot right there. Can you see it? How do I get it up there? Yeah. That was pretty much a flawless physique in that one picture. So, yeah, that pose. But, you know, it came down to one point. Did you talk to the judges? I mean, obviously, the head judge owns your gym, so he would be able to give you some feedback. Steve, did they say anything you could have done? Anything you could have done better or looked better in any way?
Technically, you know, I saw Steve, and you know, he told me that I look great. It's my best package yet, but it wasn't really a reason. You know, I didn't want to ask. But he told me that I didn't open up my back more, like enough on stage. And you know, it's interesting because the back double bicep is the main pose that me and Neil went over and over again, over and over again, So we were doing it one day. I think it was probably before we went down to Columbus. I fainted. I almost passed out because he had me doing it almost like I was doing repetition. He had me doing it, I would say, do it for 10 seconds, take 5 seconds break, go back again, do it for 10 seconds. So I was doing it about 25 times, you know, and to a point that I couldn't flex, I couldn't squeeze my back anymore, you know, and that was after a back workout. And he makes sure that I squeeze those details. He says, you know, he has a denser back, his back is thicker than yours, but you have certain lines and structure on your shoulders and your peak of your bicep that he doesn't have. He says, you need to show those. But when I got on stage, I didn't notice I was closing my back. So in pre-judging, we went to the hotel, we talked about it, and I said, oh my God, I can't believe I was doing that. And at the night show, it happened again. And then the guy Keon was next to me on my left. Yeah. So I noticed that I was kind of squished in and I couldn't really spread out my back. Right. But my girlfriend says, you should have elbowed him, you know, get him out of the way.
Steve doesn't like the elbows. He always gets mad at us. To your credit, though, that one pose, I see it done. Not everybody opens up their back. Some people keep the scapula squeezed together to show more density and thickness in that, especially in the upper back, the rhomboids, the teres, and all that. And obviously, when you spread it apart, unless you have a super, super thick back, you lose some of the thickness of the actual back to show that width. And that's what they want you to do, is show more of that V-tape of the width.
Yes, yes. Anyways, I don't know why I was doing that, but I didn't deliver, you know?
That's, to anyone out there who competes, you know, that's the way that pose feels natural. You feel like you should be flexing and squeezing everything together. Spreading it apart seems wrong. I mean, spreading apart on a lat spread feels right, but the rear double, it feels like you're supposed to squeeze. So,
squeeze, right.
You were doing what felt natural. I want to point out to everyone, if you were following Steve before on Instagram, it was Mr. Propo with a couple H's, but thank goodness you've made it easier for people to find you now. Because who the hell is Mr. Propo? I don't know, but Steve Laureus is your new Instagram. What made you change it to your name?
I think as a professional, it sounds more marketable, you know, by going with my actual name, you know. The Mr. Proper didn't sound right, you know, it didn't really sound right to me. You know, a lot of people liked it, but I didn't, you know. So I think Steve Laureus is my name and this is who I am, so I should just leave it as that, you know.
And you didn't tack on IFBB Pro at the beginning or the end, I've noticed, like most people do. You didn't say IFBB Pro Steve Laureus or Steve Laureus IFBB Pro. It just says Steve Laureus.
There's no reason for that. I don't put titles either on my page. I don't put titles. I don't claim titles. I don't claim anything really. I'm just a regular guy, man. I just don't, there's no reason for it. The only reason I would say that I never thought of putting it, I just feel like I'm just like everyone else, It doesn't make me special just to put it, or anything. I am an IFBB pro, and I'm going to do my best to be a professional, to represent the IFBB Pro League on a professional level. Whether it's I have to go internationally to meet other people, that I'm always going to do that. And the IFBB Pro League give me an opportunity to live a better lifestyle, for people to know who I am, and to do what I love to do. I love to train and compete and display the look that I have, to my fans. That's that,
I mean, also, people know Steve Laureus is an IFBB pro, whereas 9 out of 10 people that put that on their name on Instagram, you wouldn't know they were an IFBB pro. You've never heard of them. I've never heard of them. So they have to put that. I'm just saying, there's so many pros now. There's like I want to say about 500 new pros every year now in just Americans alone. So unless you put that there, they're not going to know. As far as international stuff, are you only going to do the Olympia this year, or are you going to get out there and do some shows, maybe in other countries, and give other fans a chance to get a look at you and meet you?
I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't think I'm going to do anything internationally. Neil is going to come down, and I think in 7 weeks to New York, and we're going to sit down with my sponsor to decide, what is the next plan. He didn't want me to go to another prep. He wanted my body to rest. He doesn't think that I should go on a diet now and go to cardio and do a lot of things. And he just wants me to heal. He wants me to spend some quality time with my family. He wants me to live life and to be relaxed and to heal, to get therapy done and inside out, even herbs and stuff. He's good like that. He says, no, we're not going to compete yet. But do I need to qualify for the Olympia? I don't think the Arnold gives me enough points to qualify.
Well, second place at the Arnold?
I don't think, I'm not sure. I thought so, but I have to definitely do my homework to see if I qualified. I don't know. But if I am qualified, I'm going to do the Olympia. If I'm not qualified, I don't think I'm going to, because I think I would have to do a show to qualify and then do the Olympia. But do I believe that I can bring a great package 6 months from now? Certainly so. He believes that we can improve maybe 3, 4 pounds, 5 pounds of muscle, and coming in a little drier, is going to bring me in a better position, for the Olympia. But if I'm not qualified, we're going to take a year off.
Oh, wow. So you wouldn't try to do something later in the season, like Tampa, win that, no?
No. Yeah.
I'll have to look into it, but I believe you're qualified. I don't know for sure either. But that's interesting. I would think second place at the Arnold would be plenty of points to get you into the Olympia, because looking at, I know all the top guys going into Classic Physique Olympia, Breon, Bumstead, George, and, if you show up a little drier than you were in Columbus, I got you in the top 5 easy. There's no doubt. It's a no-brainer. I mean, the shape, everything that we've talked about. That's that's another thing I want you to comment on is.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say that anytime we have a good classic competitor, even like someone at the level of a Breon or a Bumstead who's doing so well in classic, a lot of fans always say, well, he should go 212 or he should go open bodybuilding. Like classic isn't good enough for anybody or something. Like it's always got to be a stepping stone. Is classic where you feel you belong, and that's where where you want to continue and do your best at?
No, I think I really want to stay classic now, probably maybe 2 years or so, and hopefully do the open. For many reasons now, I think my coach wants me to stay, as a classic competitor. He wants me to slowly grow, into my frame before I do anything that's going to exaggerate with my health. So he wants me to take my time to really grow into my physique, into my body. I would love to do the open. I think 30 pounds of muscle, on my shape would look great, So, it would look great,
If you could
But
kick that waist like that and put 30 pounds on, wow.
so I think maybe later in the future we probably would go for that. But now I think we're just going to focus now on see if we can do the Olympia if I qualify. But if not, we're going to take a year and come back next year better.
Okay. So what weight did you have to make for your height? How tall are you right now?
I'm 5'10" and a half. My weight is supposed to be 215. When I weigh in the morning, I was 205.
Okay,
so I'm 10.
You didn't have to kill yourself to make the weight.
No, I'm 10 pounds into the weight limit.
Wow. So you have still 10 pounds more you can grow without breaking out of the weight limit for your height. Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
The goal for we have 6 months. So we talked about it a couple nights ago, and he says, well, if you are qualified in 6 months, I can add 3 to 5 pounds in your frame, and we can bring something much more dramatic. And he says, Steve, don't worry, mate. I definitely learn your body now. I know how to work with your body. It's difficult to work with your body, but I mastered your body. I know what to do. So he says, we're going to bring something very special in 6 months if you are qualified.
Yeah. Do you know what your waist measured at 205?
My waist actually grew a little bit, a half an inch.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it grew a little bit. I used to have a 27.5-inch waist. Now it's like a 28-inch waist.
That's probably like the average figure competitor up there at the probably at a 28-inch waist. 28-inch waist at 5'10" and a half. Unbelievable. Well, I think it still looked very tiny to me. So that half-inch, you put on how much muscle too since last year? Definitely.
5 pounds.
Okay, so I think that's a good trade-off.
5 pounds.
If you put 30 pounds on eventually as an open competitor, unless you put like 10 inches on your waist, it's still going to look pretty small. If you can keep it like 30, 31, that'd still be very, very dramatic. I had to ask about the hairstyle. What made you go with that? That was a bold choice, dyeing the top of your hair, the highlights and everything. Very bold choice. What kind of feedback did you get about that?
I just wanted to look cool around the competitors, that's all. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I just wanted to do something different. And normally I always go for a clean look, and I just don't know the reason why I did it. But some people like it. And I said, oh, hey, okay, cool. And honestly, actually after the show, a lot of people recognized me on Saturday and Sunday. I was there because of the hair.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's a trademark for me now with the hair. It was just so funny.
So you're gonna keep doing that?
I think I'm gonna keep it.
It was different. I didn't know what kind of feedback you got, positive, negative. And you definitely stood out though from everybody else.
I didn't lose by 1 point because of the hair. I know that.
Yeah, I was wondering, did they say no more funny hair, or next time you can win? I mean, it's a good thing to have hair too, because in open bodybuilding, there's not a lot of hair left anymore. Classic guys seem to have some nice heads of hair, most of them. But you still got a nice, good head of hair. Now, how old are you now? Like 32?
33.
33. Still a young guy. Still a very young guy. So I got a couple questions from the readers on the forum that they wanted to ask. What do you think about the new Classic trunks? Improvement or not improvement?
Actually, they look more classic to me. I think I think it was Tyler that came with the idea. I think it was a great idea because you can see more of your thighs. You can see, the sartorius muscle attachment. It goes quite higher to the growing area. So I think you can really see that more. And also the sweeps. It's not blocking, part of the sweeps now. Yeah.
Classic has come so far. This is only the 16, 17. We're just starting the 4th season of Classic Physique. It's come so far already since the very beginning. Where do you think it's going in the next few years? How big do you think this division can get? How popular?
Oh, just a year from now, I think it's going to grow a lot more, and it's becoming one of the most popular division. Everybody wants to do classic physique now.
They do. They really do. I mean, do you have a lot of people hitting you up wanting to get into it now because they're inspired?
Yes, yes. You know, and you know, it makes me feel really good about myself that I'm inspiring, you know, younger people about, you know, bodybuilding and classic. The only message I want to send some of those guys is that I think a lot of bodybuilders need to take care of their health more. I think they need to educate the media more about not just going to the gym and lift 500 pounds. You know, being a bodybuilder, I think we follow the same protocols. You know, the guy that was coaching you learned from this other guy that was coaching him. And now we're in 2019. I feel like everybody follows the same system. They diet the same way, they dry out the same way, they do the same protocol. So I just believe that there's so many different ways around fitness, because bodybuilding is this much. Fitness is this big. You know, I think bodybuilding can grow more if we actually present ourselves many different ways by educating people about, you know, health reasons, you know, and spending time with your family. You know, it's not just the gym, it's not just the diet, it's not just lifting heavy weights. You know, so me, I just wanna, I post some of those things on my story sometimes. You know, I take times off, I juiced, you know, I do a lot of greens, I do a lot of herbs, I do a lot of things. You know, I don't want a 15-year-old to just believe that this is all I do is just go to the gym and lift heavy weights and take a lot of supplements. You know, there's a lot of things that you can do, you know, to actually heal the system, to heal your organs. You know, they need help sometimes. You know, especially after a prep, your hormone levels are imbalanced. So that's all I have to say. I just think we just need to educate more about that. You know.
Here's an idea. MFit Supplements is your sponsor, correct?
Yeah.
Maybe get like a video series going on YouTube. You know, you can promote their supplements and you can get a lot of this information out there. Show your day-to-day life and show that it's not just, you know, doing some curls and squats and a chicken breast. Maybe there's more to your life than that. Let people know who you are and what your, you know, the full day looks like. It's a lifestyle, and you actually balance it with family and other things. It's not just 100% meathead. So, someone wanted to know if you consider doing the Open. You said, yeah, definitely you're going to do that. So last question, what are your hopes and plans for the rest of 2019? The season just started.
That's a very tricky question. Actually, I know I was going to be interviewed by you today, and I actually called Neil yesterday, and I told Neil, this question is going to come up. What do you think should be the right answer? Well, he says, you know, just be yourself and speak from the heart. He says, right now we don't know what we're going to do, because actually my plans start today. You know, he wrote me a plan 2 days ago, but he wants me to get back on track today, you know, with my diet and everything. And we're just going to put on some size from now, not get fat, and be regimented to do everything on time. But we don't know if we're going to do a show before the Olympia, or we're going to sit down for the whole year. I need to check online to see if I am qualified. You know, if I am, we're doing the Olympia, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you got a lot of, you had fans before, but I guarantee you have a lot more fans since this Arnold Classic. A lot of people sat up and said, wow, Steve Laureus guy, oh my God, he's awesome. You know, there wasn't a lot of awareness. You had done a couple shows last year, but that was it. But I guarantee you, a lot more people are aware of you now. They're following you, and they want to see you in the Olympia. I want to see you in the Olympia. You know, I want to see the best Olympia possible. I want all the best guys up there.
I would love to see myself in the Olympia too. I would love to now, just because of I know that there's a coach that believes in me and knows how to work with my body. You know, I have much more confidence to do everything right, to train better, to believe that I'm going to bring something more dramatic now. So before I was frightened about doing a show. I said, I don't know what my body's going to look like 10, 12 weeks to the show. or even a week out. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with you know, trying to dry out or whatever. But now I believe, like Neil said the other day, he says, I mastered your physique. I know exactly what we're going to do. In 6 months, they don't know what's going to come. You know, if you qualified, you know, if you do the Olympia, we're going to bring a very, very good look on stage.
Yeah, I mean, I really hope that's exactly what happens. I really do, because I do. I want to see Breon at his best, Bumstead, George, you, Arash. I want to see everybody at their best, because those are exciting Olympias. That's where you're like, oh my God, what are these poor judges? What are they going to do? But you're right up there. You're one of the best now. There's no question about it. I knew you would be. I knew it was just a matter of getting that condition a little better, and this guy's going to be. Sure enough, you know, you came that close, that close. You missed it by like an eyebrow hair, you know. And I know it's got to be tough, but man, it really put you on the map in a bigger way than you already were. I know this. People have been talking about you a lot just this past 9 days since the show. It's crazy. So, you know, I wish you continued success. Work with Neil, everything you're doing out there. Glad that you've got a handle on this condition, because you had everything else already. And if you do that with Neil, a little bit more size, a little bit drier, who knows what could happen at the Olympia, you know?
We're going to spend much more time now with training. So he wants to focus a lot on my upper body. You know, my biggest problem is always my quads. You know, they always overpowers my frame. Yeah. But now we're going to focus a lot more on developing calf, hamstrings, and more density on my mid-trap and lower back. So those are the areas we're going to focus on now, just to bring that dramatic 3D look and stuff like that. And
have you been training in his style, the Y3T?
Yes, I actually mixed the Y3T style and Ronnie Coleman style. Oh, wow. I couldn't deadlift it and do a lot of things because I had a car accident years ago, and I'm just now getting back to my routine of training, and that's exactly why I look the way I look too, with the improvements. So I love Ronnie, you know, and I'm into bodybuilding because of Ronnie Coleman, and I love the 2003 routine he had. I think we spoke about that before, and now Neil wants to put more of the Y3T style into my prep right now for the off season. So I'm actually very eager and see exactly what it's going to do to my frame.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens. If you make those improvements in the condition, like I said, who knows? Who knows what could happen? You could be all the way to #1. You know, nobody's untouchable. Nobody's unbeatable. As good as the champions are, every champion eventually loses and a new champion rises. So could be you.
Actually, the current Mr. Olympia champion is a very nice guy. He's Breon. You know,
Breon. Come on.
when I came to the division, I was very friendly to a lot of the guys, but I guess some of those guys didn't want to be friends, so they made business. Business is business. So I learned from that. But Breon is the guy that always come up to me and talk to me and chat, and you know, he's always telling me, man, go do your thing. You got this. Very, very nice. He's the only one that gives me the time out of all the top 5 guys. He's the only guy that takes his time. He talks to me. He says I have potential, and that makes me respect him. And I think he's doing a phenomenal job, you know, representing the IFBB Pro League, and he's doing it. And he's a champion for a reason. Right. And I love that guy. You know.
You still want to beat him, of course, but everybody wants to be Mr. Olympia. Come on. Why else are you doing this? So, okay. Nice shout out to Breon. I hope you heard that. I hope you do hear that anyway. But that's all. Steve, thank you so much for taking the time. Congratulations. You looked phenomenal at the Arnold. Could have gone either way. It went George's way, but next time, who knows? And at the Olympia, who knows? Could be very, very different story this fall at the Olympia. So
I'm hyped up. I'm gonna check today. If I am qualified, we're gonna go to work. I'm gonna go out there and bring, you know, the best I can bring.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. This has been the Ronline Report with Steve Laureus, top classic Physique IFBB Pro. Thanks for watching.